Hi everyone, welcome to Kenfrog Draws episode 5. Thanks for your patience. This has been a slow project in the works, but I've been enjoying it a lot. So one of the changes I've made is to zoom in more while I'm drawing. And some of my videos lately, there have been big parts of the video where you can't really even see me drawing because I go off camera, for example, and I start drawing off camera. That's not so nice, so I'll try to be a bit more careful with that. So there you go, you can see now, around there. That should be good. That's what I'm going to be working on today. And I also bought this light. Good. Just make it a bit brighter as I go. So this drawing here has been taking me a bit of time, but it's slow and steady progress with this one. I think this has been about altogether 6.5 hours so far. All right. So this pen I'm using today is a 0.38 uni ball, so you can know what's the color. This one is called khaki. Right. I want to use a kind of a golden color because the frame is also golden. Right. I have absolutely no idea what I'm going to be talking about today, but just thought I'd get in there and start drawing. Today I had today is February, what day is it today? Today's February 6th. I finished work at 6 o'clock, and then I had some friends over. We were 7 people in my tiny dining room, and I made crepes, French style crepes. So I made some savory ones, and I made some sweet ones as well. It was quite fun. I bought some smoked salmon, some prosciutto, and then I made this stir fry of spinach and mushrooms to wrap up in the savory crepes. I also made some yogurt, which I drained of the moisture, mixed in with some shredded cucumbers. I made a tzatziki, is it called? It's kind of like a Middle Eastern yogurt salad with the cucumbers. And a lot of this I did the prep for yesterday in advance. And then for the sweet crepes, I was going to make a custard cream, which is a bit of a thicker, what we do kind of, it's our version of the Japanese, of the English creme anglaise, for example. We'll do like a pastry cream, which is thickened custard. But I didn't have time for that, so I just ended up buying some puddings, some cheap puddings. Pudding as in Japanese pudding, we call it. Kind of like a creme brulee, but without the brulee. They come in these little packets. And we put that inside. I got 2 big bunches of bananas, some strawberries. Yeah, it was a fun party. There we go. Nice flower. Got the magnolia here. I wonder if it would be strange to have a few magnolia coming out here as well. Again, like I've been saying every time, rule of 3s. So I'll do 3 magnolias here. going quite fast. Always outline. I think this is maybe the longest I've gone in one of my videos without saying anything. I don't know, I think sometimes it's, I think I've changed over the years in that I'm not as afraid of silence as I used to be. In the past, I think that I was really eager to fill any silence with conversation, with saying something. And, I'm always going to find something to talk about, unless I'm really tired. But, I think sometimes when you're with people you're comfortable with, you don't need to talk. Not that it's wrong to talk or anything like that. It's just that talking is not the most meaningful thing you can do all the time. Sometimes just being, just existing in the same space with this feeling of like, well, trust, yeah, but like, I mean, just like you're used to each other. You've kind of gotten accustomed to occupying each other's space without the need to necessarily talk, because talking is, as much as I like talking, it is formulating sentences and thinking about how to speak in a linear way, and sometimes that's not the most important thing when it comes to communication. Sometimes just inhabiting the same space is enough. So I think that, yeah, with even some of my friends and some of my family, we're not constantly gabbing. Although I do talk a lot, and most of my friends do talk a lot as well. But yeah, it's not always like that. I think it's okay. I remember one of my earlier videos I made, a friend of mine saw it, and I kind of was worried. I said, I think there's too many just long, awkward pauses and silences. And he said, no, just leave those in. I think that's just organic. It's natural. It just feels like kind of, you're not afraid of the silence. And some people are afraid of the silence. So just use that. Just leave that in there. It feels more natural that way. So I think sometimes maybe it's a bit forced. I feel like I need to say something. I need to be talking. But it's not always the most important thing. So. And it's like real quiet is pretty rare, I think. I mean, I think I remember really clearly a few years ago. I don't remember what I was doing exactly. I think I might have been either working on some sort of translation project, or I was sitting at my desk drawing. And if you think you're in complete quiet, just wait till your fridge stops humming, for example. You probably don't even hear your fridge humming because you don't listen for it, or you don't probably hear your watch or your clock ticking because you don't listen for that sound. But when you stop and try to hear complete silence, it's hard to find that, especially if you live in the big city. Where I live in Zoshigaya, it's quite a quiet neighborhood, so it's not bad. But there's always a little bit of a whir of machines, or maybe the sound of a couple cars, or something in the background. I think just pure quiet is almost a commodity. Not as easy to find as one might think, But I just remember that one time I was sitting down and I was doing something, and the fridge stopped, and it was absolute silence. And I remember thinking to myself, wow, this is what actual silence is. I don't remember the last time I've identified this. I don't know what it is. I don't think I can just say, I can just attribute it to one thing, but there's something to be said for silence. That is, I think it's security. It's inadequacy. It's adequacy, because silence, I think a lot of people tend to think that silence is a void, but it's not just a void. It's a chance for you to get in touch with things other than noise and sound. It heightens smell, it heightens sight, perception of color, and you get real quiet, where you can actually hear yourself breathe. Seriously though, I want to get away from doing these flowers. They're really easy, and they look nice, but they're kind of just like, I need more. It's come to the point where I'm not honestly super happy with my flowers. I want to draw people. I want to draw pictures that I can get lost in. Some of my drawings I can get lost in. I have some hanging up in my house. And I was just on the phone with my friend for about 45 minutes, and as I was speaking with him, I was looking at the pictures I had up on my wall, and I felt very detached from them in a way, I suppose. I mean, I guess I was aware that I'd done them, that they're my art, but I didn't connect with them in the way that I think I remembered how I'd planned that picture out, because I don't plan my pictures out, or that I remembered when I'd drawn it, or what I was intending to do with it, or anything, what kind of frame of mind I was in. Oh, sorry, I just kicked that thing again. Guess I did. I didn't really, once I'm done with the picture, usually I'll just kind of deconnect from it. So it's no longer a part of me. It's its own kind of entity. I don't know if it's a good feeling or if it's a bad thing. It's just how it is, really. Just an observation. But when I haven't done it, there's that sense of unfamiliarity that you feel in a maze, for example. Like, you know, if you're in a maze or a puzzle, you're not supposed to feel a sense of familiarity. You're supposed to feel that sense of, well, being puzzled. It's a puzzle, right? So, of unfamiliarity, of adventure. And I like that when I've done a picture, I can detach from it. Then it takes on the quality of mystery. It's not something that I've created anymore. Or perhaps it's something that I've created, but it's not something that I've that I feel close to as the creator of it, you know? And I can enjoy it from a more external, removed perspective. Not saying I won't be biased towards the picture, but yeah, I do like that. I do like pictures I can get lost in. I like simple drawings too, but they're more difficult to do. Something really minimalistic and still beautiful at the same time. That's hard. I can fill, if you give me enough time, I can fill a paper with these little details and these little flowers and make something that looks really spectacular from far away, but something simple and just really well done and simple is actually quite hard to do. That's why I want to do the flowers right. If I'm going to be doing this like this with the little details, I need to get my flowers right. I feel kind of like they're pretty, but まあ足りないっていうかsomething is missing. And I'm glad I feel that way. I'm glad I'm not satisfied. I'm glad that I'm always a little bit disappointed, because then next time I'm going to be less disappointed. It helps me identify any weak points, you know? Yeah, rule of 3, I've got 3 flowers here. There you go. Okay, unfortunately here there's not enough room for 3 buds. Maybe there is, but I'm just going to do a twin here. 2 magnolias. And I think, I don't know, this is just conjecture, but I think when someone's looking at this picture and they see these two here, they might think, those look kind of lonely, why are they the only group of 2? So I'm going to leave that in there for that reason. You see this pen is starting to blunt a bit, as in that my lines aren't as sharp. That's okay, they're good for texturing that way, but like I said, get another paper and scribble on it. Preferably a rougher paper. A paper that's rougher or smoother than whatever you're working on. And scribbling on it will help to bring those colours back out. Or rather, get the ink flowing again. Yes. Okay, flower, 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 flower. And then here, what do I want here? Maybe some leaves. But let's do something else. Not the same typical leaves. Something a little bit more. There we go. That might be fun. And then instead of just colouring the background in, I'm going to use just some fine lines instead. Not bad. Oh, yeah, I like it. It's set of 3 because the third leaf is kind of hiding behind this flower here, so you can kind of see it vaguely. At least I know it's there. There's a bit of a hint of that third leaf there. So, okay. Okay, that's all coming together quite nicely. I don't know. Is it better with the light or without the light? It's a really nice, it's like a really simple lamp I bought. It's adjustable too, so I can kind of move that head down a bit. Yeah, it's nice. Let's zoom in just a little bit more. There you go. I know what I want. I want some these guys here. I just have these stock fillers. Like, you know, when you talk, you'll say things like, well, stuff like that, you know? And when it comes to drawing, these particular motifs, these natural motifs, this one here is so easy to put together, but at the same time looks just really quite nice in the big scheme of things. You want a lot of different textures, you want a lot of different shapes. So you want some straight lines, you want some curvy lines, you want some rounded things, some uneven things. You want a bit of everything, you know? And I think that's... because that's what nature is, really, isn't it? It's a mumble jumble of things of different shapes and textures, and that's what a jungle is like, right? That's kind of what I'm trying to create here. And finally, when it comes to this circle here, I actually just got a wine glass and just put it down, trace the bottom. I might not even fill it up, I might just leave it blank. I'll leave it blank and it would just be like a place you can rest your eyes. It's good to have some just white space in your drawings, but it's just always been difficult for me to identify a place that I can leave blank, or how to leave it blank. Like, where do I stop with these? Like this? Can I just leave it like that and would it be fine? It's difficult, and it's also because I have so much fun when I'm drawing, and it's just super satisfying to finish a whole circle, to like just how do I say it, like to completely draw everything, you know? It's very satisfying, but at the same time, it's not doesn't look the best. You want that contrast, you want like that build up. And what's conducive to that build up is not having all fine lines, having some fine lines, some, you know, that contrast that we were talking about a little bit earlier. I'm not that good at that, so sometimes I need to actually just mark off a spot and say that's going to be the white space, I'm not going in there. Very quite. Excuse me. Kind of sleepy. I think lately I've been drawing till quite late, so it's probably going to be a good idea for me to get some good sleep a bit earlier today. Well, we filled it a bit here, and I think that I'll have to continue the rest at another time. Just a little bit more. There we go. I like this flower here. I just have this feeling that I want to do a bunch of them. When I get this certain feeling, like, oh, that looks nice, I'm going to do more of it, I trust it, because whenever I've had that feeling in the past, like, oh, I like what I've done there, I'm gonna do more of it. I'm gonna take that further, take this curiosity, I'm gonna try further with it. I've never been disappointed. I haven't always gotten the result I've wanted, but I've never gotten a result that was disappointing or that wasn't. So when learn to identify those feelings, if it usually ends up with a good result, I think you can go ahead and run with it. You can think, okay, half of it is knowing myself, knowing my relationship with this paper and with this pen, with these images in my mind, and the other half of it is just unfamiliarity, just thinking that no matter how I do this, it's gonna turn out eventually due to factors that are not even, that don't even have anything to do with me. Factors like the color of this pen, the thinness of this pen, or the fact that the illusion I'm drawing of flowers here just looks beautiful. It's nothing to do with the skill, or very little to do with the skill, just the repetition that makes this aesthetically quite pleasing, whatever. Some of the factors are related directly to my skill in this, but some of them are completely external factors, and I can just trust the process. I don't know if I made a lot of sense there, but yeah, when it comes to this, I can just trust, I can just let go, keep on going like this. I think I sound different today. It's not just my voice. Maybe it's because I was speaking to someone different. Anyway. Oh, well. Like, what am I going to do here? That's another dilemma. Okay. When in doubt, just add these solid balls, and they're going to be just like, they're going to be little bits of white space throughout, little bursts of light, because I'm going to color around it and just leave some of these white spots around it, and it just helps to, if this is a house, those are the lights, and they're lighting up the whole complex, so outline around them a bit to make them pop a little bit more. Yeah, should just do that, for example. Okay, well, I think that's all we have time for today. Thank you so much for dropping by again. I'm Ken, and you've just watched Ken Draws video number 5. Half sleeping already, so tired. Thank you for dropping by, and I'll see you next time. I'll see you next night.